Hello and welcome to this video in which I'm going to talk about the trial and improvement method of solution and estimation for some values. In this particular problem, what I've been told is that the area of this rectangle is 220 square centimetres, but that one of the sides is 1 centimetres longer than the other ones. Now, these numbers are quite close to each other, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at some of the square numbers. So if it was 14 by 14, I would get an answer, I would get an area of 196 square centimetres, and if it was 15 by 15, then the answer would be 225 square centimetres. So this is too small, this is too big. So that means that one of my sizes is going to lie between 14 and 15. So let's have a look. We start 15 times 14, because bear in mind one has to be 1 centimetre bigger than the other. That would give me 210. So that's too small. So it's a little bit bigger than 15 and a little bit bigger than 14 that we're going to be dealing with. But how much bigger? If we try 16 times 15, so that's again 1 centimetre apart. This is too big. So it's not as big as 16 and not as big as 15. So that means that my size needs to lie between 15, it's going to be 15 and a bit by 14 and a bit. Let's try halfway in between the two. So if I try 15.5 and multiply that by 14.5, I put that into my calculator, I get an answer of 224.75. Okay, so we're still too big. So it needs to be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, I should say. Bigger than 15, but not as big as 15.5. Let's try 15.3. Times 1 centimetre smaller, 14.3. And that's going to give me an answer of 218.79. Now this is too small. So that means it's an answer that's somewhere between 15.3 and 15.5. Okay, so this was too big, this was too small. So let's try 15.4 times 14.4, 1 centimetre smaller. So if I put that into my calculator, I get to 1.76. Okay, so basically I have an answer which is going to be somewhere between 15.3 and 15.4. Now I have to round and to get my answer to 1 decimal place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look and see which of the two is actually closer. So if I go 220 and take away my 218.79, that means that the value is 1.21 away from that. If I then take my upper one, my one that's slightly over, 221.76, and take away the 220 that I'm looking for, that's going to be 1.76. Now comparing these two numbers, you can see that this one here is the one which is actually closer to the two. So to 1 decimal place, my side lengths are going to be 15.3 and 14.3. Okay, hopefully that lets you see how you would solve that. I'm going to go over onto a new page, and I'm going to look at one of these algebraic solutions, which are posed in the exercise as well. So if I have x times x plus 4, so some size and some size that is 4 bigger than it, multiplying to give me a total of 23. Okay, if I was to look at this and go, right, well, 23 is quite close to 3 times 7, that's 21, and if I go one bigger than that, I've got 4 times 8, which is going to be 32. So that means that I'm going to have a value. Now I've picked 3 and 7 because 7 is 4 more than 3. Okay, so I'm just simply playing about with some numbers which kind of might suit. My number is going to be between 3 and 4. So x is going to be between 3 and 4 here. So let's have a look. Let's try 3.1 times 7.1. That's going to, when I put that into my calculator, give me 22 0.01. Just a bit too small. If I go 3.2 times 7.2, my answer here is going to be 23.04. So, deciding between the two, I'm looking at this. So 22.01 is going to be 0.09 away from the correct answer, and 23.04 is 0.04 away. This one is the one that's closest, so these two are the ones that are the closest to the size. So that means that to one decimal place, x is going to equal 3.2 to one decimal place. Okay, hopefully you've understood that, and hopefully the video was helpful. Thank you.